Are we recycled at death? Is the earth a soul net matrix? I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower. Let me get myself situated so I can try to see the chat as it rolls by, as people join. And we're going to talk about this subject today of are we in a recycled at death? Are we in a soul net matrix? And this goes right along with what we're talking about. And I want to do something first, though, because the reason I'm on here is because I did have a past life regression scheduled, and I get the feeling that some people aren't, quite understanding how to do it. I know it's new technology for a lot of us, but you'll get an invitation from me to a Google Hangout. All you have to do is click I accept, and boom, you'll be live with me. I've also got several people that have said, hey, look, I can't schedule an appointment with you. It looks like you're full. Let me just show you real quickly what it looks like and show you that it's not full and that I do have times available for you. Let's just take a quick look here. This is my website. What you want to do is you'll be at the website and it'll look like this. And all you need to do is click on schedule times. It brings you to this calendar. And let's just look at today, which is the 25th, right? The 25th. Where are we? Well, this is July. Is it the 25th? Really? It is the 25th. Wow. So this is what the calendar looks like. And if you look at it, oh, he's busy at 12 a.m. But if you click on it, from 12 to 1, he's busy. Okay. So from 1 till 4, he's not busy. And if I click on 4 a.m., oh, he's busy from 4 till 7. So from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., he's not busy. See, this was the appointment I just had. But for some reason, and I understand people get cold feet and things come up, but I also think sometimes people aren't understanding what's going on. So we'll reschedule this one. It's no big deal. To be frank with you, it's almost a nice break. I've been working very, very hard, and I love doing it. And then also, so you can see from 3 p.m. till 10 p.m., I'm free. So there's plenty of time on the schedule on any given day, just like this one. I mean, 9:30 a.m. till 10:30 a.m. Oh, he has an appointment. Okay. But nothing from 10:30 a.m. till 8 p.m. when he's busy again with another appointment. And nothing from 8 p.m. till 12 a.m., right? So that's all you have to do. And once you find a time that works for you, just come up here, copy and paste this, and send me an email. Hey, Jeff, I want this time. And I will get right back to you. I promise. So that's how it works. It's very simple. It's very easy. And I think once you do it a couple times, it'll become second nature to you, and you won't be worried about it anymore. I did want you to know that we do have available, and this will be my last commercial thing, I promise. We do have the I Am Divine, I Am Sovereign, I Am Free t-shirt available. We have them in the gray. That's the one I have. And we also have them in the white. And then we have them in the pink. And we also have them in blue. And we have them in several sizes. A lot of people are buying them. And it really is a cool thing. But I warn you, if you wear this out in public, people are going to say, well, what do you mean? And it gives you a real good chance to talk to people about what's going on in their lives and to be a positive influence. So I think that's really actually a good thing. So let's go ahead and take a look at this question now of, are we in a soul matrix? And let me just check and see if we've got any questions here. Hello, Denise. Hello, A-Bum Chuck. And I heard, hello, Nick. Nice to see you. So nice to see all of you here. And we're going to go ahead and dive into this now and take a look. Are we in a soul matrix? So let's take a look at this. There's an interesting article that someone sent me, one of the great subscribers sent me. And I'm going to pull it up now so you can see it, and we'll discuss it. And it goes right along the lines of a lot of things that we've been talking about. So that's why I wanted to talk about it with you. This is from AMTV, hard hitting and in your face. I don't know much about them. I'm not totally, recommending them. But this is a very interesting article. I like the picture. It kind of really gives you the idea. And it asks the question, are we recycled at death to remain in the matrix? And it brings up some really good ideas. Is reincarnation just a recycling? You know, we in the New Age movement, the truth movement, whatever in the world you want to call ourselves, we have sort of been conditioned to accept reincarnation as a truism. Oh yeah, reincarnation is true. And I found myself even believing in that. But whenever we find ourselves agreeing with something, oh, everybody knows that reincarnation is real, we really ought to stop and think and ponder and ask ourselves, how do we really know, especially if everybody believes it to be real? And the idea of a soul-catching net or soul net that awaits us at death and keeps us in the matrix is a grim and highly disturbing notion, but one which I believe the author says has to be considered by all serious researchers of the global conspiracy. So where do we go when we're finished with this life? How far does the suppression, how far does the oppression of the powers that be in this matrix that we're in, how far does it go? And it's a very sensible, I think a very rational, and I think a very legitimate question that we should ask ourselves. And I think that we can ask ourselves this question. Take the red pill, says Andy G. Hey, Matt, how are you? Paul, Lee, nice to see everybody in there. So we know that we're in basically a control matrix now. The powers that be are trying to control our lives. They're trying to feed off of our energies. They're trying to feed off the fruits of our labor. They're really, at best, turning us into wage slaves, and we are working hard to build their dreams. However, does it end when this life ends? We've spoken about this many times, that it doesn't end when this life ends, and that there are these things that we call soul farms. And hey, Squidbillies. So we're going to take a look at these soul farms a little bit, and maybe from a different perspective than mine, and see if we can't come up with some more information about them. I think it's wise to get more than one perspective. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, this author talks about years of research, going through layers of political corruption, corporatocracy, false flags, etc., etc. And he makes a very interesting point. He makes a point that the real conspiracy is all about suppressing the idea of who you are. And I think that's very true. Everything is set up to suppress the idea of who we are. And who we are beings, divine beings with the spark of divinity within us that are currently inhabiting a fleshly body. But this fleshly body is not us, but they want us to believe that it is. So the real idea of who we are is we are spiritual beings with the spark of divinity, currently inhabiting, of course, these fleshly bodies. And that's not telling you anything that you don't know. But there's also a lot of researchers in our realm that refuse or are unable to contemplate this topic. They don't want to talk about what happens because, frankly, many of the people in the truth movement are still 100% sold, bought, and paid for by the Christian religion. And there's a lot of the big time, well-known, quote unquote, truth people that won't say one word against dominant Christian beliefs for fear of losing financial backing, or in some case, losing the spot on their network and losing viewers. And it's the truth, folks. There's a lot of people, I could call the names, but I don't have to because you're thinking of them right now. And a lot of these people just won't call a spade a spade. They won't talk about the fact that it's not heaven or hell, turn or burn. It's not 100 virgins. There is something beyond life that the Christian religion does not tell us about, and in fact goes out of its way to try to keep us from knowing about it and to try to keep us from understanding it. Because why? I think many times they want us to come back again because guess what? They're part of the soul farms. The soul farms on this world are nothing more than preparatory for the soul farms that are on the astral plane. They've worked very hard to set up a false dichotomy to limit and disempower you, black, white, up, down, good, bad. And there's various religions and cultures that talk about these things, archons, jinn, demons, Mud Shadow from the Castaneda books. If you haven't read those, very, very interesting stuff. So we are part of a movement that has, is it too strong to say traitors within? Cowards within for sure, and possibly traitors. Wow, we're not going to get a lot of friends at making that, saying those kind of things, are we? Fear is the basis. If you smell a rat, I'm scared. Jerry Browning's in the house. Not 100. Matt's upset that there's not 100 virgins. And, Rob Berea, kind of lightheartedly making a joke. They get that 10% or you're going to hell. But Rob, what if they still get, if it is just a big, whoever they keep bound in this earth, when you go on to the next life, guess what? They still get part of your energy up there in that soul farm. So maybe, I know you're kind of being lighthearted, but they do want your 10% here, but it doesn't stop here, Rob Berea. They want your 10% up there as well. Wow. Now that is some interesting stuff right there. Some powerful stuff. Let's go back to our, and I'm sorry, I'm still learning how to use this stuff real well. So let's go back to our article. What is the reincarnation trap? And we've talked about this a lot, but I wanted to, again, give you someone else's perspective. The idea is that upon death, your consciousness separates from your body, gets wiped, and then is recycled or reincarnated into another body to repeat the same process. And I don't know if you remember me talking not too long ago about, I used to live in Orlando, and we had a place there called Casadega, and it is a spiritual spiritist retreat. And the spiritist, it's kind of old school. Hey, Jeff, heard of Chief Golden Light Eagle? No, I have not, but I sounds like I would like to hear about Chief Golden Light Eagle. But anyway, Casadega is a spiritualist encampment, and the spiritualists were the ones that were doing the seances and all that stuff back in the day. They're still around, but not quite as much as they used to be. And I remember talking with a guy, Reverend Don, and his last name escapes me at this moment. But we were talking about reincarnation, and he was being very, very nice and very polite. And he said to me, Jeff, why would a spiritual being have to reincarnate into a physical body to learn and grow and progress? And I didn't have a good answer for Reverend Don, because he had just asked me one hell of a question. Why would a spiritual being have to reincarnate into a physical body to continue its spiritual progress? It would seem to logical thought that if a spiritual being could get free of a have I been doing a lot of videos? Yes, I have. If a spiritual being could get free of a physical body, that they could begin to really learn and understand. So when Reverend Don asked me that, it opened up a new chapter in my contemplation. And maybe reincarnation isn't our best friend and something great that we've done and continue to do. Maybe it's part of the trap. As Denise James just said, make us an amnesiac. That's true. Maybe it's part of the trap. And maybe that's why doing these past life regressions is so therapeutic for people, because they begin to realize I have been through this again. Why? I have been through this before. Why am I going through this again? Why don't I move on up and begin to something for you to think about, not making any hard and fast proclamations. But to me, it does make a lot of sense. Why would a spiritual being have to reincarnate into a body to continue its progression? And then I found, we did the War on Heaven, or the War in Heaven. We did several videos on that. And there was some great information about the theocrats. But even the good guys in that scenario, the Invisible College, they want to make sure that we reincarnate. All I know is I did not want to come back. They made me. I was told one last time. So Moses Uriel, I would say that you, brother, didn't have to, or sister didn't have to. They talked you into it. Interesting. And that is what deja vu is. So I think that we all should ponder, consider, think, meditate. I'm going to keep saying it till you start doing it. Meditate and begin to ask ourselves, is reincarnation really the way? And why did the Christ come and specifically talk to us about completing our ascension in a single lifetime and getting off the cycle of reincarnation? Interesting stuff. So getting back to our article, before we get too far off the beaten path, let's go back to our article here real quickly. And if you haven't read the Carlos Castaneda books, I recommend them. Not 100%, but there's some good stuff in those books. There really is. And I know that, there's some controversy about those books as well. But if we are reincarnated into another body to repeat the same process, and in this way, Earth becomes a literal prison planet from which it's very difficult to escape. That's the author's assertion. And, that's a great point. The SoulNet is an artificial energetic grid, not the energetic ley lines of our planet, but it's an energetic grid that prevents any soul from getting through. And might I suggest it prevents any uninitiated soul, any soul that doesn't know, any soul that hasn't, dare I say, created itself from getting through. This way, the Earth remains a closed system where new people are constantly born for the purpose of empowering the economy and generating negative emotion for archons to feed off, not remembering who they are or what the real situation is. The SoulNet ensures that the planet remains a trawling ground for the archons to trigger our emotions, which they expertly do through media, war, fear, other methods of deception. I just did a great, in my opinion, video entitled Advanced Archon Initiatives, so they can feed on us. Don Juan said that we are humaneros. We're like chickens in a coop. The Matrix shows us as batteries, and the bottom line is generators of energy for archons, demons, extraterrestrials, whatever you want to call them. But we are powerful beings, and they really can't force this on us. They need to trick us into giving them consent. So let's stop and ponder that just for a moment. Let's stop and ponder all that just for a moment. Great comments over in the chat room as well. So let's think about this for a minute. If we are indeed energetic beings having a bodily experience, once we get out of this body, doesn't it make sense that we would be freed to go and learn more, do more, develop more? Again, I'm reminded of the lady that asked me to go look for her mother on the astral plane who had just passed, and she was gone. And I don't work with many allies, but there's a couple allies up there I do work with, Garlic being one of them, interestingly enough. And she, Garlic being a feminine spirit, said, oh, that lady's gone, and she left nothing but peace, joy, and happiness in her wake, which is very interesting. And that lady understood that Paul was a rat bastard. She understood that Paul was a false teacher and was a false apostle. So I'm becoming more and more convinced that reincarnation, though it may have been necessary for a time, I'm becoming more and more convinced that reincarnation may well be something that is not in our best interest. It's becoming clear to me that reincarnation may not be something that is in our best interest. Rocker Chick, Jeff, are you saying the source and his angels have had no hand in our fate when we pass? I'm saying that the source puts us here in a place of testing and growth and expects us to grow up for our damn selves. I know that won't play for everybody, but it's like a child. It's, you know, I've got 3 kids, and I believe, Rocker Chick, from what I know, you've got some kids too. And you know, it's hard to do, but sooner or later, you got to take your hands off those children and let them grow up for themselves. My son's 33, and I still worry about him every day, but I can't be there to hold his little hand and wipe his little nose and powder his little butt and, you know, cut up his meat or his vegetables in little pieces. I can't do airplane anymore. Open to hanger. I can't do that anymore. The brother's got to learn to cut his own food. The brother's got to learn to eat his own stuff. The brother's got to learn to live his own life. He's got to learn. And so do my daughters. And I believe that the inexpressible ones, Garlic is your last name. Awesome. The inexpressible ones, they also, it's not that they don't care. It's not that they don't want to help us, but they're good parents, if you will. They're saying, all right, man, we've given you all the knowledge. We've given you all the inspiration. We got a former crazy Pentecostal evangelist bringing out some information you haven't had for a while. So we expect you to do something with it on your own. And maybe that's where reincarnation comes in. And if you're like, oh, well, dummies, right? They're not going to use it. They're coming back around again. I've tried everything, and all I see is Jeff looking angrily into the camera. Well, it's working, brother. I can see the sound is here, and I can see everything is still working. What about those who've never been indoctrinated? Do they still get reincarnated because they never had these Christian beliefs? I would say no, Denise. They've never been sold the bill of goods. So they see, here's what I think happens most times, and we'll get back to the article in just a second. Here's what happens. So this is part of us growing, and that's my take on it, Rocker Chick. What was I going to say? Most of the time, people born, at least in the Western civilization, they go through life with one of two thoughts. I've been a good person, so when I die, I deserve to go to heaven. So they leave this life expecting to go to heaven, and they're directed into a place consistent with their beliefs of heaven, but it's a soul farm. They're still being used there. And then you have other people that say, oh, I've been a rad bastard. I deserve to go to hell. They get directed into a place of hell. And the spirits don't mind, because there's plenty of spirits that feed on la, love, and light, worship, unicorns and rainbows. And there's plenty of spirits that feed on fear, pain, suffering, torment. It's like Jack Sprat and his wife. Jack Sprat could eat no fat. His wife could eat no lean. So between the two of them, they pick the platter clean. So the la, love, and lights get what they want. And we're getting right to that, Maximus, in a second. And then the hell ones get what they want. And we get used up. And ooh, this just popped into my head. And right before we're about ready to be disintegrated into nothingness and not be able to reincarnate, they ship us back down so we can do it all over again. So they keep renewing the herd. Wow. I keep hearing the name Wes Penray. I guess I need to look him up. And for a second, Clyde Lewis, I keep sending him emails, but he hasn't invited me on his show yet. So what's up with that? Okay, let's take a look at our dealio again here. This is a good show. I like this. It's interesting. It's powerful, and I like the interaction with y'all in the chat room. Okay. So they have to trick us. How do they trick us? Films like Ghost promote it. Out of Bodies Experiences promote it. David Icke, Wayne Bush, they suggest that the light is an occult weaponization, and that there is an occult weaponization of light, and that this whole go to the light, to your point, Morpheus, is a trap. And interestingly enough, I knew this way back when I was a stupid Pentecostal evangelist. I know that's redundant, but back when I was a stupid Pentecostal evangelist, I knew I had this epiphany that, and it was in my stupid Pentecostal evangelist terms, but people were going towards the light, and it's the light and Jesus and everything's great. And then right as soon as they were almost to the light, bam, out jumps the devil and says, ha ha ha, I got you now. That kind of freaked me out a little bit. Woo! But that was my my thought and my epiphany at that time. But now, being a little more refined in my understandings of spirituality, it's really the same thing. It's just that the devil's not the pointy, the guy with the pointy tail and the pitchfork. It's the purveyors of these soul farms. And that's why I'm on and I need to start doing more recording of this, and I'm going to. We're on a weekly basis, at least, going into these astral plane and helping people, and going into soul farms trying to free people. I need to build a team for that, but that means I need to train a team, and we need, if is there any way we could get 26 hours in a day, we need to learn how to slow down time. And we could probably do that, really, if we applied ourselves enough. So let's check the chat room again real quick. I feel alone here. Anyone else? I don't know why you feel alone. Yes, this life being the Matrix. Okay, so let's look back at the article here for a minute. All righty. And a lot of people have attested to this. E.T. contactee Simon Parks, I've heard of him. Interesting stuff. Is a clear, rational, level-headed man. He states that there's been alien intervention and genetic manipulation in our DNA, which predisposes us towards being tinkered with by the archons and by being tricked by this white light. Wingmakers Neruda interview. They have also saying that the Anunnakis, the serpents, the Syrians have found a way to trick us. And this part's talking about tricking us to inhabit biological vessels. That's what the Lord did. And part of this deception is setting up these planes of existence so we never get out. Buddhism and Hinduism talk about Maya, or illusion, and that everything is illusion. Some people say that it's pessimistic, but it really does fit into what we're talking about. I don't know Val Valerian, but he's saying, and this makes a lot of sense, and I don't know if I agree with his actual definite terminology here, but he said it's the Greys who wait in the light when a human being dies. I don't know if it's the Greys, or if it's the Archons, or if it's Mickey Mouse gone bad on streamlining heroin for too many years. I don't know. But some entity that doesn't have our best interests at heart does await in the light when a human being dies. The human being is recycled into another body, and it's the same game, different name, same game. We'll see you again. If you choose to follow, you can be trapped and sent to another incarnation of their choice. So here's the key. If you choose to follow, I don't think we have a real problem in this channel, at least among the regulars, of people that choose to follow. I think that we have a bunch of rebels in here. And I mean that in a good way. When I work in the astral now, I don't let anybody touch me. I don't follow anybody anywhere. And guess what? When I do finally leave this body for the last time, ain't nobody, I don't care if it's Jesus, Joseph, Mary, and all 12 apostles. Come this way, Jeff. Get that cunt out of my face. I'm not going. I'm following my own path. Well, Jeff, what if someone's trying to help you and lead you. The chances are, you know what? I'll take my chances. I'll trust my damn self. I'm not following them. They're not leading me. They're not guiding me. I am divine. I am sovereign. I am free. It's more than just a t-shirt, brothers and sisters. It's my way of doing business. Interesting. It's a magic game. It's a card game. It's a shill game. It's a shell game. And they're the ones playing it, not us. Let's check the ye olde chat room. I'm 10 foot tall and bulletproof up there too, Nick. The light of the aeons is in us. Absolutely. Awesome to be here. A truck driver rolling forward, then meeting the evil ones. Let's see if I can go back and try to catch up a little bit. Oh, look at that. I can go back. I'm just looking through here. We can be the guardian hackers of the Matrix. We are the guardian hackers of the Matrix, Liatka. I like that. We're stuck in dense matter. We're going to achieve. Yep, I think we're achieving it. The demiurge, Saturn, I'm with you there. These people talk to dead on the TV. Are they part of the deception? Well, some of them, I mean, whenever you're on TV, the main part of being on TV is getting ratings. So they'll do whatever they need to do to get ratings. But I think some of them do have, they do some good stuff. But talking to the dead, why are you talking to the dead instead of helping them move on? They don't want to talk to you. They want to get done with what they got doing. If they've been deceived, they want to be undeceived. If they've been detained, they want to be undetained. Help them move on. I talk to them too, but we don't talk about, I was going to say where they hid the money, but maybe I should start asking that. Hey, by the way, do you know of any large sums of money that are hidden anywhere? You know what? I might actually start asking that. Somebody could say, yes, I do, by the way. Oh, check that out. And we are down with saving souls, or at least giving souls the information they need to be saved, not only in this life. I mean, everybody thinks it's perfectly fine to help souls in this life. What about helping souls? Morpheus Maximus, Las Vegas allegedly is the headquarters of both the theocratic group, the theocracy, which is the bad group, quote unquote. They're on the Strip, and the Invisible College is headquartered in downtown. We only need Neil to the creator of all. That sticks in my sticker a little bit. That sticks in my gizzard a little bit. I'm divine. I'm sovereign. I'm free. Yeah, maybe one day I'll know who the creator of all is, and at that point I would certainly. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if we're built to kneel. Yeah, I kind of tend to agree with you, Rocker Chick. There are many astral sentinels. They like to hide the truth inside movies, TVs. They do. I agree. No kneeling. Laugh out loud. I live in Vegas. I lived in Vegas for 5 years. And I wish I'd have known this when I was there, but I don't think it's anything to be afraid of. Maximus, I'd love to come out there. I've heard that there's a portal just behind the new city center. It's not new anymore, I know, but I heard there's a portal out there, and there's a guy named Reverend Rod Davis. I don't agree with everything that he says. He's got some good stuff, and that's something to think about. What God wants kneeling in worship? That's a good point. Not a real God, Denise. Not a real God at all. I don't care if it rains or freezes, as long as I got my plastic Jesus sitting on the dashboard of my car. Okay, so let's kind of try to round this thing up, and we'll take some questions. What have we pondered today? We've pondered that. Why does a spiritual being, once it's freed from a body, have to come back into a body to continue its growth and development? That sounds silly. So, Jeff, when I pass, do I close my eyes and make a run for it? like I do to avoid all the people who are trying to get me to go to the light. Hopefully, hanging around this crowd, you're going to learn some techniques and some, your blink's going to be dialed up. And here I am. I'm going back to a commercial again. You got to get your analytical mind dialed up. Right now, there's gaps in your analytical mind. Your reactive mind's jumping up. Your fight or flight mind is filling in. Your blink is off. Give me 4 hours and I can get you straight. Donation based. That's it. Only a narcissistic being would punish or push for being worshipped. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we should ask ourselves, let's ponder that. Why do we have to, once we're finally free from this meat suit, why do we need to go back into another one to learn how to be a good spiritual being? Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me. Morpheus, I do these damn things. And if you check, guys, if you've been unsubscribed, every time you're here, look and see if you're still subscribed. Click the bell so that you'll be notified. And I forgot what I was saying. Oh, certain days. You know, I do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos a day. I'm starting to do almost all of them live. So there's going to be a bunch of them, brothers. There's going to be a bunch of them. Hey, Sherry. So why do we have to reincarnate in bodies if we're spiritual beings? We got to think about that and see if it's something that we really think is in our best interest. We need to, and I'm talking about this, and I say it all the time, but it's not a cliche. You got to learn to guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, be your own guru. You've got to learn to drive your own bus, even after you leave this life. The fact that every odd is against us, each incarnation only gets harder. So how could that be right? Chris, that is a great, and I will, Rocker Chick, do more after 5 p.m. That's a great point right there. Getting us to reincarnate might, in fact, make it harder for us to escape this soul matrix. Chris Monet, bam! That's a good one. Send me your email. I'll send you a free ebook of your choice. Send me an email, christianwhistleblower.com, which one you want. I'll send it to you. That was a really good comment. I like that. That makes a whole lot of sense. So we've got a few things to think about. The divine spark, as R. Wayne Steiger says, absolutely. I didn't recognize him without his golf hat. But think about that. Ponder that. Jerry, I'm with you, brother. That touched me. Bam. So, you know, I live here in Clearwater, Florida. Thank you, John Phillip. I do live in Clearwater, Florida. And yeah, why do we want to live forever in these bodies? I think of that every time, Maximus. I don't want to live forever in this body. Get that cunt out of my face. I'm ready to go, man. I live here in Clearwater, Florida, and we've got, you know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers football team. And the coach was saying that he wants his team to be a badass football team this year. And I know people don't like that language, but we need to learn to be spiritual badasses. We need to learn to be spiritual badasses. Rocker Chick, you need to be a spiritual badass. So when you leave this body, and that's why you should probably learn how to do it, you know, while you're here, so it's not a brand new thing to you. Another commercial. But we need to be spiritual badasses. So when we get out of this body and we're passing through that astral realm, it's like, you know, I don't like the Lord's Prayer because it's obviously not a good thing. We've been through it. There's a great video. And I always say great. I know I make them, but I think they're great. It's not me. It's the information. But I remember this old saying. It was a bastardization of the Lord's Prayer. And it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of evil, I have no fear, for I am the baddest son of a bitch in the valley. And that is what you have to do. That gave me chills. That's the mindset you have to get yourselves to. I am the baddest son of a bitch. I'm the baddest. I guess a girl would just say bitch, not trying to upset anybody, but you know what I'm saying? You got to get in touch with that inner bitch. I mean, ladies, you need to be 49. You need to be 51% sweetheart and 49% spiritual badass. Same thing with you, man. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, which is the astral realm, I believe, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. See, somebody's taking me through. The Lord's taking me through, and he's going to lead me to the places I'm supposed to go, and I'm going to be so happy. That's one way you can do it. Biatch. That's one way you can do it. Or you can say, yea, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and I'll fear no evil. Get that cunt out of my face, because I am the baddest son of a bitch in the valley. I don't need you, Lord. I don't need none of y'all. Bam. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm a bad man. Yeah, Muhammad Ali. That's what we need. That's what we need. That's what we need. And I know it sounds almost counterintuitive. Good, rocker chick. But it takes a certain amount of ego to navigate the astral realm successfully. So it is what it is. I'm a bad mamba jamba, says rocker chick. Are you considering a mass consciousness experiment? What do you mean, Kay? Achieving Christ-like consciousness is the key. We must walk and talk as Jesus did. Check this out. Okay, what did Jesus, how did the Christ walk and talk? I remember this one part where he said, Tamu and Gina, nice to see you. Tamu's going to come on the channel with us here before too long. That's a smart lady. She's going to teach us a lot of good stuff. And the Christ said, you are of your daddy, the devil. Oh, that sounds like a badass to me. You're of your daddy, the devil. And one time he said, get that cunt out of my... No, he said, get behind me. That's a spiritual badass, in my opinion. Confident to the point of cocky, but yet humble. You hit it on the head there, Alan Hicks. I like it. I like it a lot. And it took everything within me not to do the Jim Carrey impersonation there. All right. Are we recycled at death? I think we are recycled at death, or they want us to be recycled at death. What's your take on soulmates? Speaking of reincarnation, dude, I ain't got time to worry about soulmates. I'm almost, Moonlight. I was watching some of your stuff. I just don't, I don't have time. I don't have time right now. If I ran into a beautiful woman that wanted to go out to dinner with me, I'd be sitting there the whole time thinking, you know what? I should be making a video right now. How bad is that? How bad is that when you're when you're at that place and you're like, oh man. My cat goes with me in the astral realm, rocker chick. So there you go. Anyway, I forget what I was just saying. Oh, yeah. So don't ask me about soul flames and, partners. And don't ask me about anything romantic because I don't have any idea. About all I know how to do is mess them up because I was married 3 times. And I just, like I say, I finally found the one and I'm him. To my credit, I was married for 16 years, then had 2 rebound bam divorces within 18 months. So I got myself set up and cleared. I think dogs are allowed. And I think that's right. Yeah, it shouldn't be scary. It should be exciting. It is mission. And did anybody ever tell me what that mass consciousness experiment was? I don't know what you mean by that. Christian Whistleblower at gmail.com. Now, I think the Gnostics are right on that. Let me know what you mean by that mass consciousness experience. Boom, that settles it. Dog is God spelled backward. Was that you, Kay, that said the mass consciousness experience? Anyway, Christian Whistleblower at gmail.com. Send me a question if you have it. You've seen where the website is. You've seen how to navigate the website. Yeah, you know, Matt, I can feel you on that one. And you know, oh yeah, you know, Moonlight, I've heard that, and I tend to believe that, but I just haven't done enough. I've got a great like the Tower of Babel. Yeah. Now the Tower of Babel, the Old Testament way or our way? I can show you anytime you want, Matt. It's kind of a one-on-one thing. Maybe I should do a seminar on that, a webinar, but it's more of an in-person thing, but we could do it that way. Thanks, Moonlight. Have a great day. And I understand what you're saying. I think it's true. That's outside of my wheelhouse right now. So, and that's probably why you're around, Moonlight, so you can handle that stuff, because I'm way too involved in other stuff to handle that right now. It's just not something that I can do right now. I don't know why. It's just where I am and you know where I'm at now. So gnosis does mean knowledge. So let's consider whether we want to be recycled. Let's become spiritual badasses so we can get out of the soul net matrix. And let's learn how to be spiritual badasses, confident to the point of cockiness, but yet humble at the same time. You can contact me at christianwhistleblower@gmail.com or through my website at Jeffrey Daugherty. You see my name there. It's spelled the same way, jeffreydaugherty.com. This is what we're talking about. Unwinding your mind, unindoctrinating yourself, guiding your own spirit, mastering your own ascension, being your own guru. This is what we're talking about, being excellent to yourself so that you can learn to be excellent to one another. And that's when it all starts really working. Much love to everybody in the chat room, because it's over there for me. And we'll see you again soon after 5 p.m., I promise, because somebody gave me a new, not a new one, but somebody gave me an iMac, and he's going to come over and help me set it up, and that's going to revolutionize my dealio here. We'll be doing much better and much easier and much more elegant than we're doing now. So nice to see you, and we'll talk to you again soon. Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. We'll see you next time.